Two Brain Business World. I am Jay Cohen. I am in Locomotion Fitness. That's my gym. It's in Charleston, South Carolina. We have 275 members, started with 30, 6 years ago. Two Brain took me all the way there, and now I try and give back as much as I can. Today, we're gonna talk about a little test that Two Brain calls the hit by a bus test. In my case, in case you can't tell, everything is train themed, so I'm gonna call it the hit by a train test. And the idea here is pretty simple. But before I get into it, I'm gonna tell you a little story, my story, which is from the day that I started working on my gym, which was roughly fall of 2016, until, let's see, it was summer of 2019, I did nothing outside of Charleston at all. I worked on the gym 6 or 7 days a week. Most weeks was 7, most days was 12-hour days. And I get it. If you are in founder, it's hard to get away. And it takes a little bit of time. However, I encourage you, as soon as you are able, before you think that you are able, you've got to step away from the business for a period of time. It creates some mental clarity, and it allows you to do the hit by a bus or hit by a train test. It allows you to stress test things and systems. So my story, not having gone anywhere for 3 years, and the years before that I was in the Marine Corps and deployed a ton. We didn't travel much then either. I sat down in 2019 and thought to myself, what am I doing? I started this business to serve me and to serve my family first and foremost. I started this business so that I could enjoy my life while I'm helping other people. And I had half of that equation. I was doing a great job helping other people. I was doing almost nothing those first few years to help myself. And my mentors at Two Brain were telling me all of the things that I'm telling you right now. And I made every excuse in the book to not go. I didn't go to Two Brain Summit. I didn't, all of these things that would have expanded my mind and been investments in my life didn't get done because I was terrified to leave the business. But if I don't leave the business, I can never expect to leave ever, right? I need to test things to see what breaks so that I can start to step away more and more. And that's the hit by a bus test. So we talk about it often in Two Brain. Your job as a business owner is to build an asset, not a job. And in order for your business to be an asset to you, it needs to be able to operate without you being present. If you are present and have to go every day, that's a job, right? And it can be both. You can pay yourself as an employee and have profits coming in and it be an asset. But ultimately, if your goal is to sell your business, the role that you do needs to be replicable by another person. If it's not, you are the secret sauce to your business and it is not sellable. You're not going to be able to use that asset to fuel whatever you want to do next, or even to keep it in the family and serve your family later on down the line. And that is why we go to talk about building roles and tasks. So before you take this trip, you have to make sure that your roles and tasks are built out and solid, and that you know which staff members are responsible for which roles and then which tasks fall under that role. Now, you do not need a different staff member for every role, right? One person might be social media and client success manager and Zen planner or whatever member management service you use, admin, right? But all of those roles need to be written out with all the tasks underneath them so that as you grow, you can hire individual people for each role as that workload gets bigger and bigger. So once you've mapped out all your roles and tasks, before you go on your trip, it's your job to just sit down with each person and say, okay, I'm about to leave. These are the things that you come to me with. These are some things that I'm still doing that fall under this role that I shouldn't be doing, but I know that you're doing them because I know that I did that. So just having that conversation and saying, I'm not going to be here to do these things. So you need to be prepared that they are coming. Also, a little pro tip here, make sure you have a force majeure set up to where if something goes way wrong while you are away, your staff knows what to do. If, God forbid, something catches on fire or something happens with one of your members, the staff needs to have a plan in place for that. Or even something smaller, like a coach sleeps through their alarm and doesn't show up to a class. Those things happen, right? And Murphy's Law says it's gonna happen at not a great time. So we just have to make sure you're as prepared as you can. Even though I'm saying those things, please, please, please don't let that stop you from going on the trip. Because if you do that, you're gonna be stuck forever. At some point, you just have to take the leap and trust that you have done a good job with your staff and setting up your roles and tasks and systems. Once you've done all that stuff, then take your trip and shut it down. Don't check Slack, don't check email, don't talk to your members, do none of it. If you are halfway plugged in, you're not gonna get a full report on what is wrong with your roles and tasks. And that's important mindset shift. The goal is for things to go a little bit wrong. Maybe we don't want things to blow up, but a little bit wrong is a good thing because that's what allows me to get back in and identify those gaps and holes that we didn't think about because you're always there during the day-to-day processes. So not checking stuff is going to be the hardest part. Trust me, I know how hard it is to shut that entrepreneur brain off. Especially when you disconnect, at least for me, I know when I disconnect from the day-to-day of my business, sometimes it actually gets worse because my entrepreneur brain starts going and I think about big picture stuff and changing things around. Try your best not to do any of that. You need a vacation. Summer is a great time to do it. It's slower around the gym anyway. Just unplug all the way. That's your one job. All right, fast forward, you had an amazing trip, you listened to me, you didn't do any of the things that you really wanted to do, and now it is time to debrief. Take a look at what happened when you were gone. Sit down with your key employees and ask them, how do you think it went? What were the issues that you saw? What were the things that went well? With your coaches, maybe the people that aren't big pieces of your business, just small part-time folks, get their input, see how it affected them. And once you have identified different things that went wrong, we can start to dig in and figure out, was that a one-time like weird thing that we really don't need to worry about much? Like it's not worth allocating a ton of time, energy, and effort into fixing that because it really was a fluke. And I will tell you that is by far not the majority of things. Most of the time it's a process or it's a systems problem. Or is this something that's going to keep showing up if we don't address it and do something about it? And those are the things that we really, really are looking for so that we can figure out, okay, what do I need here? Do I need a written SOP? Do I need to zoom out maybe a little bit more and maybe just this whole method of what we're doing doesn't work? Maybe it's a model problem. It could be a million things. And that's why it's going to be important to really pick the brain of your staff that had these issues so that you can say, okay, what did you do? Where did you go to find this information? And then start there, right? Address that first and then look at how all those other pieces plug together. So for example, we do an appointment, it's called an all aboard appointment. Again, hit by a train, right? All aboard when people first get started at my gym. And there was a few items in that checklist when people take those appointments that were also in the sales checklist. Now, I was normally the one that was taking sales and I knew just ignore those things because I know they're going to get them at the all aboard. But when I was gone, the salesperson didn't know that. And then when they went to the all aboard, they were doubling up on all the information that the person already gave at the sales appointment, which makes us not look awesome. So in that case, I had to adjust the sales process and or the all aboard process to make sure that moving forward, that wasn't an issue when I wasn't there. And those are the kinds of things that you're going to notice. It's stuff that you have in your brain, but you haven't expressed it to the other people that are on your team. That's the stuff that gets you in trouble. I've got one more piece for you on this hit by a bus test, which is to make sure you you think through, was this a process problem or was this a people problem? So if you look and the process is rock solid and things should have been handled, maybe you don't need to beat yourself up. Maybe it's time to have a conversation with an employee who didn't do what they knew they should have done, that they knew better than to do this thing that is counter to your company's values. And in that case, it's sitting down and having a conversation with that employee, possibly taking disciplinary action, whatever steps you need to take to remedy that issue. I just want to make sure to throw that in there because sometimes we go back to the drawing board on processes, we revamp everything, and we find out that the process was fine. No matter what we gave to this person, they were never going to deliver in the way that we wanted people to deliver. All right, that is the hit by a train test. Again, take that vacation this summer. You deserve it. You change people's lives for the better. Try not to stress as much as you can. Plan in advance. Go through, lay out all those roles and tasks. Sit down with each team member. Tell them what they're responsible for. When you get back, or then unplug, do nothing so that you can see what breaks. And then when you get back, address those issues, tighten up processes, change around roles if you need to, have hard conversations with staff. And then each time you do that, you're going to be a little bit closer to having an asset as opposed to buying yourself a job. All right, guys, again, I am Jay Cohen. I own Locomotion Fitness. This is the Two Brain Business YouTube channel where we try and help you live a rich life as a gym owner. If you like this video, give it the thumbs up. Hit that little notifications bell so you don't miss any of our stuff. And I will see you next time.